Hello, my friends. Here I am again, like every single Thursday, with another session of Emotional Cafe. My name is Xiomara Mayo Ingram, and I want to welcome you all for being here with me. As usual, I have my decaf coffee with me, and I invite you to get whatever you feel comfortable with. It can be hot tea or chocolate or maybe coffee, whatever is best for you. And before we start with our amazing topic today, overcoming failure, I want to remind you a couple of things that I usually remind at the beginning of each session. The first one is to invite you all to share the news about Emotional Cafe with your friends and family. Invite them to come and check our webpage. We need your help. So go visit our webpage, read the articles, see all the different things that we have there to share with you. Remember that Emotional Cafe is a virtual platform that is for you. It's totally free and you can have the access to previous presentations. All the videos are already there, and also you can get to read the articles that are also written thinking about you and helping you to grow. We're sharing our experience with you so you can actually overcome many of those issues that we all struggle with in order to accomplish the kind of life you want. Remember that also on our webpage you can subscribe to the newsletter in case that you haven't done it. It's on the right column. You can click and just include your email address, and you will be receiving, this is really important, you'll be receiving an email to opt and confirm that you want to receive the newsletter. The newsletter will have a specific and exclusive content, only the newsletter, and you will be getting it digitally directly to your email. So this is very important, because if you don't confirm on that email that you want to subscribe, unfortunately our server won't be able to send the digital newsletter to you. So make sure that you go and open and click on the link that you're going to be receiving on that email, and therefore you'll be confirming your subscription, and you'll get to benefit from that exclusive content that you will only find on the newsletter. I also want to remind you that Emotional Cafe is totally free thanks to sponsors and friends that are helping to finance all the expenses that we have in order for you to have the free access that you need. So you can feel free to make donations as well. Just go to our webpage and you can find all the information. So I think those are pretty much the reminders that I had for you. And let's talk about overcoming failure. And before we talk about failure, we need to define and be clear about success, because when we're talking about failure, it goes hand in hand with the word success. What is success? What is the meaning of success? And I want to invite you to go and find the article on the webpage that it's about the meaning of success. And this was something that happened directly to me, and that's why I wrote that blog, because I wanted you to know how different are the concepts for people and how sometimes people have different ways to see success. And the most important thing, the bottom line, is that you need to define success for yourself. So but let's see what some of the definitions that we can find out there say that success really means. Some of the definition says that success is the accomplishment of an aim or purpose, that it's a person or thing that achieves desired aims, desired goals, and gets some sort of prosperity. It also says that it can be the attainment of popularity or profit. Other definition says that it's the achievement of something desired, planned, or attempted. The fact of getting or achieving some sort of wealth, respect, or fame. That's another definition. The correct or desired result of an attempt. The degree or measure of succeeding. Someone or something that is successful, or a person or thing that succeeds. Those are also definitions of success. It says the favorable termination of attempts or endeavors, the attainment of wealth, position, honors, and a successful performance or achievement. And as usually I get one word definition by simply finding words that somehow are linked to success. And those words are accomplishment, achievement, advance, benefit, boom, fame, gain, happiness, profit, progress, prosperity, realization, triumph, victory, and win. All these are one word definitions related to success. Now that we know what is the general common conception of success, what will failure be? What it means to fail? What fail means? What is the definition of failing or failure? One of the definitions says omission of performance, failing to perform a duty or expected action, an abrupt cessation of normal functioning, lack of success, and one that has failed. Those are very simple ones, but again, one word definition could be defeat, failure, forfeit, loss, misfortune, sadness, sorrow, unhappiness, inferiority, and unfulfillment. Those are the ones that are related to failure and failing. Now, as I was saying before, the most important thing is for you to define what success is for you, figuring out what it means to you. Because we live in a society that right now everything is in such a distortion perception. It's just hugely disappointing when you think about the parameters that society has to define success or to consider someone successful. Pretty much the people that are considered successful are the ones that are wealthy, they have they're rich, they can be famous people on the TV, and that's pretty much the parameter to be successful, when the truth is that success can be part of our lives even with single small goals that we have. And as long as we define what success is, as long as I don't go comparing myself but trying to do better every time, that's what really success is to me. Being able to do my very best in whatever is it that I'm doing, that's what's gonna make me be actually successful. And to me, success is not about just accomplishing some goals in one area or aspect of my life. You know how I'm always mentioning that we as a whole, we have different areas in our lives, and that we need to attempt to accomplish different goals in each one of those areas in order to feel that when one of them is failing, the other ones are supporting us and making us feel better about life itself. Well, it's the same thing. Successful is a combination of being able to accomplish small goals in the different areas of my life. At least that's my definition, my particular and personal definition. When I do my very best as a mother, as a wife, as a friend, as a daughter, I am being somehow successful. Because depending on the goal that I set for each one of those relationships or for each category of my life, when I go to work and I go and work on time and I do what is my responsibility to do, I am being a very successful employee because I am actually doing my 100%. So it's the same thing. When I set the goal that I want to be able to have a good relationship with my mother and be able to be considerate and affectionate, and whenever I want to be harsh or say something that is going to hurt her, I don't do it. I'm actually being successful as a daughter because my personal goal of having that good relationship with her, it's actually happening. I'm seeing that result. So that to me is success. When we set up specific goals in different areas of our lives, it doesn't matter how big or small they are, and we accomplish them, we get to see that we are capable of doing that. That's what makes us successful. To make us successful people. That doesn't mean that I'm gonna go and participate maybe in a marathon and win the first place. That might not be my goal, and that might not be my parameter to be successful. But for someone else that is really struggling to actually make it for the whole marathon, that might be the definition of success, to be able to do that. So figuring out what success really means to you will make a whole difference. There's also something very important that we need to be aware of, and it's the fear of failure. The fear of failure is when we allow that fear to stop us from doing the things that can move us forward to accomplish a goal, to achieve our goals. And the fear of failure can be linked to many different reasons. Sometimes it can be related to a traumatic event at some point in our life. Sometimes it can be that we don't believe that we deserve to be successful. And sometimes it's our low self esteem playing that trick in our minds that we really are not capable of doing this or that. So those are signs of fears of failure when you are reluctant to try new things just simply because you don't think you're going to be able to make it. Some people are afraid that they're not going to be able to maintain the performance, and they're always expecting something bad to happen. They get a good job, but they're always expecting that somehow something's going to happen and they're going to lose that job. So that's the whole fear of failure. Some people call it fear of success because it's also a way in which we simply don't move ourselves towards the actions that will get us closer to our goal. So in some other ways also, the perfectionism is something that can sabotage the way that you accomplish your goals. So these are different signs of fear of failure. Another important consideration is to always remember that failing is a learning process, and that's the way we need to be able to see it. And you might say, Xiomara, it's easier said than done, because when I want to be able to take a test to become, let's say, a realtor, and I fail, I don't feel like looking at it as a whole learning experience. And I totally understand, because usually when we fail on something that is important to us, there comes that emotional stagnation, there comes that emotional process in which we feel so upset about it. But the most important thing is not to remain there. It is extremely important to push ourselves out of that stage and be able to move forward and look back and see the process. Look at the failing and kind of make a self-inventory, a self-evaluation. What did I do wrong? What do I need to do differently? What if I try it again? How I'm gonna do it in order to make it this time. So when we look at it as a learning process, it can be amazingly rewarding because it's gonna teach us a lot. And I came across this incredible picture. It was an illustration showing how people that never how some people actually see success, and they see failure and success kind of, next to each other. You're either succeeding or you're failing, when the truth is that the most successful people can tell you that they've tried many different times. And you can see on that illustration that they see success down here, and then they have failure until finally they accomplish the goal that they wanted. And I think this is an extremely important illustration because it really shows that it doesn't matter. Failure is going to be a vital part of life, but if we just see it as an obstacle in our way, if we just see it as something that we need to go through it in order to accomplish what we want, definitely we'll be able to keep moving and be closer to that goal every time. Finally, the last important consideration is to remember the social conception of success doesn't necessarily has to be your definition of success. You are entirely entitled to define what you want and how to accomplish it and your process. So don't let people define success for you. Just be mindful of these things when you're thinking about your goals and what you want to do and who you are. Some people tend to decrease their self-esteem because they see themselves and they look at themselves in the mirror and they see themselves as failure. Don't do that to yourself. One thing is that you're trying to accomplish a goal and you fail, but that doesn't mean that you are a failure, that your whole life is failing. It's just, again, an area of your life. I have some suggestions to overcome that fear of failure that I want to share with you, and I put together in order to be able to help you. And One of the first ones is to identify the root cause, to identify exactly what is the goal and what do you want to accomplish that. Because sometimes it can be that you're going after a goal that is not even your goal, that is not even something that you want to accomplish, but something that someone else wants you to accomplish. So find out, why is this that important to you? Why is it that it's so hard for you to put the actions towards that goal? And kind of look at the whole root of the problem. Simplify. Simplicity is really something huge. Sometimes we start thinking and we get overwhelmed before even putting the actions into practice, and nothing has happened. It's all here in our minds. So try to keep it simple. I like the expression that says, how do you eat an elephant? You pretty much eat it bit by bit. So it's the same thing. Just try to keep it simple. When I'm working with people on accomplishing, I told you that I have assisted many people to accomplish their goals. And one of the things that I do is that we define what is the main goal that they want to accomplish. And then we break it into small goals, goals that are smaller, that they can actually start putting the actions together, and bit by bit, by doing this and doing that and accomplishing this one and accomplishing that one, all these small goals are part of the big one that they are finally accomplishing. And it just happens as a surprise because they're doing all these little ones that they can see themselves capable of doing, and all of a sudden they end up with the amazing result that they've been anticipating and they've been longing for. So keep it simple. Remember that failure is inevitable. As much as changes, failure is part of life. It doesn't matter what you do, it doesn't matter what area, it doesn't matter how prepared you might be. Still, failing, it's a probability. So just keep it simple in your mind. It doesn't mean that you are a failure, as I was saying before. Just remember it's part of life, and what you need to do is get up, shake it off, and keep moving. Embrace it and learn from it and move forward. Some famous people like Albert Einstein used to say that there is no failure, there's only feedback, there's always learning, that it doesn't matter. The more you fail, the closer that you are to your goal. And these are the kind of thoughts that we need to nurture ourselves with in order to continue telling us to keep on trying. That is the worst you could possibly do. When you're trying to accomplish a goal and you fail, to give up on that dream, to give up on that goal. Just hold on to the goal. Remember, try to visualize the results. Try to savor that moment when you accomplish it, and hold on to that and put the actions together and try it again. Try it as many times as needed. If you think about that reward, if you think about those actions that, or better said, those results that you're going to be able to enjoy, that should be enough to keep you moving forward. Failure is temporary. You're not going to stay there forever. Remember, it's just a stage. It's just a setback. The most important thing is to keep moving, is to keep going, because again, that's what's going to push you closer to whatever goal is that you have. Free your mind. Your mind is everything. If you need to go back to the presentation that I had on self-esteem, you might find there when I was talking about that critical negative voice that we have in our mind that is always telling us that we're not capable, or that we cannot do it, or that we're never going to make it, or that we're a failure. You need to stop those thoughts. You need to stop with that negative voice that is talking to you and telling you that you cannot do that. By freeing your mind, by nurturing positive beliefs about yourself and about how you're capable to accomplish. If others have done it, you're going to do it too. This whole reprogramming your mind is going to help you to continue moving forward. It's going to help you to keep pushing you towards your goal. Change your perspective. See failure as a teacher. Whatever is it that you go through, hold on to the lesson. Look at it. Don't be afraid to look at it, to actually see what was it that happened, what could you have done differently, what can you do differently when you do it again. So remember, when you change that perspective, you're going to be able to see that through failing and getting back up, you are growing. Your whole self is growing, and you're emotionally becoming a much more stronger person. Embrace fear. We always say that fear is a gentleman, that the minute that you go and you directly confront him, it's just going to let you go through. Embracing your fears means that you look at it. When I'm working with people and they tell me that they're anxious, it's usually because they're projected either in the future or they're still in the past. And it's because of their fears. And I always play that exercise of what's the worst that can happen, because it helps them break down their fears and just let them fall on the ground and be able to see them all and understand that none of that has happened but in their minds. So keep that in mind when you're too afraid, when you are feeling all that fear that is blocking you from moving. Just look at it directly in the eye and say, what is it that I'm afraid of? And just analyze it and break it into pieces, so you're gonna see that it's not as big as you think. Take actions. Put all the actions together. Make your list of those actions. Make sure that you keep track of what you're doing and what you're not doing, because eventually continuity is what is really going to take you to your goal. Patient and being constant on what you're doing, putting those actions together, that's what's going to take you to be totally successful in whatever is it that you're doing. Imagine your future. I was saying visualize what is it that it's going to happen, what is going to be the result that you are trying to have at the end, because this is going to help you to hold on to that dream. But remember that even as you imagine the future, you need to keep yourself in the now. Staying in the present keep you grounded and allows you to continue putting one step in front of the other in order to be able to do what you need. Follow your passion. Some people, it's just amazing how some people don't have any dreams. I am planning to do a session based on the vision board, because I have always, for many years, probably over 10 years, I've been using vision boards. And it's funny because some people probably think that it's some sort of magical thing that happens, and let me tell you, there's nothing magic. It's just simply putting pictures to remind you of your goals. But what really is important about the vision board is that you have to sit down and figure out what is it that you want to do, what is it that you want in your life. And I remember when I was going to be doing my first vision board, I tell you, I sat down and it was like such a surprise. I always consider myself so grounded and knowing what I wanted, and when it was my time to write my goals, I didn't know what to write. I was clueless. I spent like 3 days not knowing what exactly I want. But after I figured out my first one, it's been an amazing experience, because I put pictures of my goals, the things that I want to accomplish. And let me tell you this, it keeps reminding me every day what is it that I say that I want. But most importantly, what am I doing to get to that goal? What am I doing to get those results? What am I doing? And that kind of puts you in perspective and pushes you to follow and put those actions together in order to be able to get those results. So that to me is what the vision board is about. A reminder of setting my goals, seeing them in front of me, and reminding myself every day, what am I doing to accomplish those goals? Sometimes we need to reframe our goals. Sometimes we need to redefine our goals. And sometimes it's hard because that's when people feel they failed. And I tell you, sometimes we have to redefine those goals. Sometimes we're holding on to the wrong person or to the wrong goal or to the wrong job, when the opportunity might be that after we let go and we redefine what is it that we want, we might be surprised ourselves. So don't be afraid. It doesn't mean that you are a failure just simply because you look at your goal and realize, you know what, that's probably what I thought I wanted, but not anymore. You are, it's your right to change your goals and to redefine them as you need and as you want. So keep this in mind. Also, it is important to visualize your obstacles. What might be wrong? What might not turn out the way you wanted it to be? What might be the different blocks along the way? What are the obstacles that you're going to be finding? Because that will help you to be prepared. Another very important consideration for overcoming that fear of failure is to uncover your story. Sometimes there's a reason behind that thought. I have a simple example that I found for you. For instance, you need to be able to separate the fact from the story behind. For instance, fact, a product launch generated 20,000 of revenue as compared to goal of 100,000. The story behind it, my father was right, I'll never make it on my own. You see? From not being able to accomplish this goal, but losing the perspective that has accomplished this goal, which is a little bit smaller, the person is already feeling that it's a failure because the story behind was that the father always told him that he was not going to be able to accomplish anything. So be able to see what's the message behind the way you feel about the things. If it's a fact or if it's a story behind, if it's something like a wrong belief that you have been taught or been told by your maybe parents, maybe the people that were raising you. These are important. And again, you can find all that in my session about self-esteem, because it is important that you get to define the difference between the truth, the reality, the facts, and the story behind the way you feel and the way you act. Ask 3 powerful questions. What did I learn from this situation? When something doesn't turn out to be the way you wanted it to be, ask, what did I learn from this situation? How can I grow as a person from this experience? And what are 3 positive things about this situation? These are powerful questions that are going to help you get out of that stage of fear and feeling like a failure. What did I learn from this situation? How can I grow as a person from this experience? And what are 3 positive things about this situation? I have to tell you that we all succeed in small things, but at the same time we also fail in small things. I can tell you, and I think I shared it at the beginning of all the sessions of Emotional Cafe. It was an important point in my life. I was struggling with being way over the weight I was supposed to have, and also my whole nutrition, my whole eating habits had to change, and I struggled for weeks. It was really hard for me to get back on track. And something as simple as staying on a diet or working out is something that we kind of become really committed and we're constant, and next thing we know, we fail. The important thing is not to remain in the failing stage. Just get over it, move, start again, get up. But you need to put the actions together again. You have to remember that we fail in small things, we fail in large things, and sometimes our failures negatively impact the rest of our lives. Sometimes we've made a decision based on fear because we were too afraid to take a risk, take a chance, and that might be a decision that is going to have an impact for the rest of our lives. But you know what? Each setback, whether small or large, we find opportunity for growth. Just don't stay there whining about what happened or what didn't happen, and start, assuming your life and assuming responsibility for it and moving forward. Remember that failure is part of life, and we need to be wise to allow it to change and shape us. So that is the only way that we're going to be able to move on. And I want to be able to share with you some recommendations to overcome failure. You know that before the end of the session, I always have my recommendations for you. And I have some simple ones that are going to be able to help you a lot. The first one is to admit that we have experienced failure. Feel it. Feel your emotions, feel your anger, feel your sadness. Be aware that that happened and experience it. Number 2, recognize failure is common, normal part of life, as we were saying previously. Number 3, don't blame it on someone else. Assume your personal responsibility. Look for your own responsibility, because this is what's going to help you not to be putting the spotlight on the external factors, but to be able to make the adjustments and changes that you need to make in order to move on. Let go of the factors outside your control. Be aware that there will be things that you're going to be able to entirely plan for, but others you simply have no control over. So be aware of this. And remember that we go, sometimes some of us grow through pain because some of us are really hard-headed. So sometimes we need to experience that discomfort in order to learn from it. Forgive, be forgiving when you have not accomplished what you want, maybe in the time frame that you have set originally. Just be compassionate, be forgiving, and redefine your time frame, redefine your goal. Turn to others, talk to people that are positive. Don't go to those toxic people that are going to tell you, I told you not to try, I told you it was not going to work out. No, don't go to those, but go and talk to people that have been successful in accomplishing their goals, people that have overcome failure. There are amazing stories. Get books to read about those that have been able to overcome adversity and failure, because again, that's what's going to nurture your soul, and it's going to help you to move from that specific stage. And the final 4 steps that I have for you on this session to overcome failure are very simple. You need to accept that failure is part of the process, whether you like it or not, and you don't need to like it. I remember this phrase, you don't need to like it, so simply accept it. Let out your frustration. You can just, vent it out and write about it and talk to someone about it. It's just okay the way you're feeling. You're going to be frustrated, you're going to be upset. But remember, the important thing is not to stay there. Move on from that spot. Be honest. Be honest with yourself and simply decide to continue moving forward. You need to accept. You have acceptance, you feel your emotions, you accept it happened, and start making the adjustments and the evaluations in order to change whatever needs to change, the patterns, the actions, change your negative thoughts and everything, and quit thinking about the failure. After you go through it, just simply get up and get over it. That is my best advice. Don't stay there, because again, the frustration can take you to lower deepers of depression, and that's not what you want. You want to be able to learn from this, get up, get over it, and move on. Redefine your goals, review your goals, check out why you think were the reasons for you to fail, and simply change your strategy. And the most important recommendation I have for you tonight, give it another try. Look, I know it's hard, and I've been there, okay? I have been able to redefine my life, but I have gone through a lot of different changes. I have gone through a lot of frustration. I have felt upset about letting go people and things and goals and dreams. But you know what? When I tried again, when I gave myself the opportunity to learn from those and redefine my goals, I had been able to accomplish the kind of life I always dream of. It might not have been on the places that I wanted them to happen. It might not have been with the people that I wanted it to happen. It might not be specific things that I wanted, but I tell you this, it's worth to try again. So don't give up. Don't consider that failing is the end. It's just, again, another setback. Is just an obstacle along the way, but continue moving forward, redefining yourself, redefining success for yourself, and redefining your goals. And I promise that you're going to be not only fine, but you're going to be successful in accomplishing your goals. Well, my friends, that has been our short session, our short presentation on overcoming failure. I hope you find it helpful. Remember that you can always go back to the video, take notes on the recommendations and some of the important considerations that I always share with you. And I'll be expecting to see you next week, Thursday at 8. Remember to invite your friends and your family, and hope to see you there. Thanks for joining me tonight.